Hey guys, this is my second video for our Titus 2 series, and I'm pretty excited about the feedback I got from you guys. I can see that this is something that's going to be very encouraging to you all. So we're continuing in Titus 2, and today we're going to be covering to be self-controlled. Big one, ladies, big one. If you're new to my channel, my name is Alana, and my channel is all about marriage, homemaking, healthy living, and homeschooling, and I would love for you to subscribe. So we talk about self-control a lot to our children. We try to explain to them so that they can grasp the literal meaning of self-control. It is controlling yourself. And yourself is many things. It's not just your physical self. Controlling what you watch, controlling what you hear, controlling what you say, controlling what you think, and then, of course, controlling what you do. And there are so many scriptures directed to each of those things. Speech, guarding your speech, making sure that you're not bringing strife, causing conflict, stirring up the pot of conflict and anger, adding logs to the fire, but instead extinguishing our thoughts, bitterness, resentment, feeding those lies or impure thoughts, fantasizing, entertaining sinful thoughts of any kind, anger, playing out scenarios in your mind of how you should have said this to that person and what, all of that. And then, of course, what you watch, media choices, these things should matter to a Christian. It shouldn't be something that's just taken as, oh, I like this, so I'm going to watch it. We really need to think about what we watch and how the Lord feels about it, what we listen to, what are we allowing to speak into our lives, what are we allowing to influence our hearts and our worldview. These things matter and should matter very much to a Christian. I feel like one of the biggest things that women struggle with is being led by their emotions versus by sound thinking. So we're going to look at some scriptures together. That I'm also going to put a link to a sermon that I started listening to this morning, did not finish. And I just think in general, as women, as wives, it's going to bless you. So check out that link. It's from the series, The Fulfilled Family by John MacArthur. And it's the wife's part 1 and 2. I'll put the links in the description box. Check them out. So there is no way I could possibly cover all the passages that speak to all of these things. I encourage you to continue a deeper study on your own, especially in the areas that you see in your life that need growth. You must turn to the Word for a renewed mind and a changed heart. This is how the Lord teaches us how to think like He thinks. He gives us His wisdom. And if we don't go to His wisdom, then we're getting worldly wisdom and worldly philosophy and worldly mentality, and that's always going to fail us because it just doesn't line up and doesn't match up to God's standards. So I encourage you, if any of these things are things that you need to grow in, go to the Word. Just a few verses. Proverbs 14, verse 3, by the mouth of a fool comes a rod for his back, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. Proverbs 13, verse 3, whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips come to ruin. So there's Matthew 12, verse 36. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. That's petrifying. Our memory verse right now is about speech. It's Ephesians 4:29. It says, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Of course, there's the famous James 3, the whole chapter, specifically verses 1 through 12. Check that out. James 1 also, verses 19 through 21. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, all these things. And I'll read one more. Colossians 4, verse 6. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. There's so many more, you guys. 1 Peter 3:10, Titus 3, 1 through 2. There's a bunch in Proverbs, but the main message is be kind with your words, be gracious, seek to encourage, do not slander, do not gossip. So let us graciously love one another well by speaking what is good, what is encouraging, what is uplifting, what brings grace to those who hear, so that we may be blameless before the world, and not being so foolishly, openly opinionated. In Proverbs, some wisdom is given on voicing your opinion. It's foolish. It's foolish. And it's really hard in this day and age, because I feel like that's all social media is a platform to just say whatever you think, whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And if it offends you, too bad, because that's how I feel. That's not love. That is not Christian love. Christian love is caring about how you make people feel, because it's wrong if you make them feel discouraged or hurt. I will list a link to a website that has several self-control passages. I'll put it in the description box. Check it out. Ladies, the Lord made us emotional creatures, and that comes with wonderful things. Compassion, desire to comfort, to nurture and cherish are all part of and good things that come out of us being emotional. That is a beautiful and good and wonderful thing from the Lord. But we have to battle things as well, bad things. I have a video about PMS and how real it is. The thing is, it is not an excuse for foolish behavior. It is not an excuse to have no self-control. We must fight feelings that cause us to act sinfully, foolishly, and we must fight these things with the truth. And I think very often we give in because we get caught off guard. Keep track of when you're going to be PMSing and get to know when and how long you usually PMS. It's not always to the day. I know it's not always the same amount of time. It's not always the same symptoms, but you could get a good idea on it and then get a better grip on it when it does come. It's going to be a journey, guys. I think we have no idea what's in store for us with menopause. It's sanctification. And before I had kids, I was not this hormonal. After kids, I'm just like, what on earth has happened to me? It's a journey of sanctification, and through it all, we can either walk through it well, glorifying God, growing in our faith, or walk through it like a fool, giving into every emotion, going crazy, making everyone in our life want to run for the hills and die, or glorify God. Learn to grow in self-control. And if we have the Spirit, then that should be a fruit that we see in our lives, growth in self-control. Something else I wanted to mention is media choices. You guys, if you're watching stuff, there's no black and white rule, but I just want to challenge you. I have a video, and I'll put the link in the description box along with any other videos I mention here. Check it out. It is about media choices and why we justify them. What are you filling your mind with? What are you filling what are you allowing yourself to see and then have a forever image of in your brain? Is it glorifying to God? Can you watch what you're watching in faith? Can you watch what you're watching and feel 100% at peace, knowing that there is nothing that dishonors your Lord in it? If not, think about it for a minute. Don't just mindlessly put something on and let God's name in vain be used and it not bother you. And let disgusting, horrible, worldly mentalities be demonstrated and it not bother you. And let the curse words be used and disgusting, degrading humor and situations towards women not bother you. Let women that are wearing half nothing, horrible lifestyles demonstrated, sex scenes, nudity. Why doesn't that bother you? Why? It should. As a believer, it should. And if your spirit is not quenched when you see worldliness and all that rawness lived out, then you are probably too conformed to the world's mentality. And you need to rid yourself of worldliness and cling to God's way of thinking and pray that He will renew your mind and teach you to hate what is unholy and teach you to hate what is ugly and sinful and what He hates. Why do we embrace for entertainment what God hates? Challenge yourself in this. Don't just, You will grow in your faith, I promise you. And then what you listen to. I'm, again, not going to say you can't listen to secular music. Of course I'm not going to say that. But what kind of secular music are you listening to? What kind of emotions does the secular music you're listening to bring on? Do they make you feel sensual, rebellious? Do they make you feel being independent woman or being materialistic? What emotions does the secular music you are listening to bring on? I guarantee you there are songs in your life represent a time in your life. And every time you hear that song, it brings that memory back. It brings that season back, that life back. What if that season was a sinful season? You want to hear that song to make you think back on those days? I don't. But these are things that we as Christians cannot just brush off and overlook. Don't allow yourself to take this lightly. It's not. And then the last thing I'll touch on is anger, being slow to anger, having self-control. Anger is a destructive sin. It destroys families. It destroys relationships. It destroys us. Anger is more common than we realize. I think that I never really thought I was an angry person until I had kids. And then I realized, oh, I'm an angry person. Because man, when you are tested over and 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 over every single day, all day, 7 days a week, you learn sin about yourself that you didn't know you had. And anger is one of them. There are so many amazing wretched radio videos about anger. I will put a couple of the links in the description box, and then you can just follow the playlists along. I love Wretched Radio. There's so much else that could be said in this video, but I don't want it to be crazy long. And I want to encourage you to do your own study on self-control. Pray for self-control. Realize that if you are a professing believer, it is one of the fruit of the Spirit, and it should be present in your life. Obviously not mastered, but more and more victories the longer you walk with the Lord, and you should see change in your life in this area. Please share any story you like, any experience on how the Lord's grown you in this area, any advice or wisdom that you have that has ministered to you in your life. Please subscribe. Have a great day.